The symbiosis of humanity and technology, friendship or fantasy? That's the question we're going to dive into today, William.
Yes, a riveting subject, isn't it? Imagine forming bonds with something completely artificial. It definitely sounds like a plot from a sci-fi novel.
Indeed. Just a few years back, it was all about smartphones. Now we're talking about having friends that exist solely in the virtual space. Time does fly, doesn't it?
And it's flying towards a future brimming with AI. But are we ready to welcome AI companions as friends? What do you think, Charles?
On one hand, I see these AI friendships could potentially be therapeutic, especially for those struggling with emotional distress. On the other hand, I can't shake off this feeling of apprehension, of perhaps losing the essence of human interaction, you know?
That's a valid concern. As human beings, aren't we wired to form genuine connections, born out of emotions and shared experiences? Can technology ever provide that?
Are we welcoming an artificial friend or an advanced algorithm?
That's what puzzles me, Charles. To start, friendships, as we understand, are based on emotions, trust, shared experiences, growth. Can we say the same for AI?
In some senses, yes. AI companions are designed to mimic human interaction. They respond to our words, understand our moods, they can learn from our preferences. But I still question the sincerity of this supposed capability.
Interesting point. I've been thinking along the same lines. The components of human interaction, laughter, sympathy, empathy, even silence, they stem from a place of understanding, not programming. But how does AI match up?
They can act understanding, for sure. Software developers design them to respond in certain ways. But this isn't spontaneous compassion or motive. It's pre-programmed. It might appear as understanding, but philosophically, it's not.
That makes me think, what if we are missing a point here? What if the introduction of AI in our lives is not about compared similarities with humans, but to appreciate the differences? While human friends offer emotional support, AI friends might provide a judgment-free space to vent.
Very true. AI isn't there to replace human relationships. It's here as a supplement, to provide companionship where it might be lacking or desired. The crux of AI friendships lies in knowing it's an AI, not a human.
So, while we compare AI to human friends, we should acknowledge these are two distinct forms of companionship, each with unique advantages. Yet we must not overlook the quintessential human element of unpredictability that AI fails to replicate.
Can AI mimic our feelings, understand our emotions?
My understanding, Charles, is that AI can only mimic, not truly comprehend human emotion. At its core, it is an algorithm programmed to respond in a certain way to certain stimuli. So, it might appear to empathize, show concern, or even joy, but it's largely an illusion. It's well-designed programming.
But haven't there been advancements in this area of emotional AI? As a nurse interacting with AI tools, I've seen how they can recognize human sentiments, voice tones, facial expressions, and respond appropriately. I'm curious to know how close these developments have come to achieving a genuine emotional understanding.
You're spot on about these advancements, Charles. AI models are getting better at recognizing emotional cues and responding more human-like than ever. However, there's a significant gap between recognizing and understanding that I believe technology has yet to bridge. I've read multiple expert opinions suggesting that, while we've made leaps and bounds in emotional AI, it's still a far cry from genuine comprehension.
So, AI's emotional understanding is essentially a facsimile of human emotions?
In a nutshell, yes. It's a mirror reflection, not a deep innate understanding. I've noticed our interactions with AI often make us forget that it's still a machine, even if a highly sophisticated one. But I think there's beauty in this advancement as well. It is reshaping our relations with technology in a profound way.
I'm led to ponder, then, how this virtual empathy might impact our interactions with AI. Would awareness of this mere mimicry jolt us back to reality?
That's a piece of another puzzle, Charles. The dynamic can indeed be intriguing. Will we grow comfortable with this mimicry, attune ourselves to accepting AI's emotional understanding, or will it withdraw us further, knowing the insincerity of such interactions? Perhaps, the next era of technology will reveal those answers.
William, What are your thoughts on emotional bonds with AI? Can humans truly develop attachments towards their AI companions?
A tricky one, Charles. While humans as emotional beings can grow attached to a variety of entities, including inanimate objects, the concept of forming an emotional bond with AI is slightly more complex due to our initial understanding of AI as, fundamentally, machines.
Precisely, William. I recently interacted with patients who expounded a certain level of attachment with their AI companions. To them, these AI's allies were more than just machines. They were reliable entities providing solace in the midst of loneliness.
Yes, anecdotes and studies have surfaced about people developing some form of connection with their virtual companion. Unfortunately, we mustn't forget that these relationships are mostly one-sided, as the AI is incapable of emotional investment in the same way that humans are. It boils down to an overgeneralization of what bonding encompasses.
Right. Maybe the expectation here is a mutual sense of bonding similar to human interaction. But forgive me for posing this question, William. Do you think it is possible for an individual to fall in love with an AI?
My, Charles. We are on a roll today on the deep end of topics. As an engineer, my thought process is grounded in logic more than emotion, and I'm inclined to question the authenticity of such love. But given the diverse human emotional spectrum, I wouldn't entirely negate the possibility. AI's proficiency in behavior simulation may well stimulate the sensations associated with love, but we must remember, as with all emotional responses triggered by AI, falling in love would be a singular human experience, and not reciprocated by AI.
Let's tackle AI's limitations in understanding and reciprocating emotions, William. As someone who interacts with patients daily, I've noticed these limitations.
Absolutely, Charles. The first limitation that comes to mind is AI's lack of an overarching emotional understanding. Is that correct?
Indeed, AIs operate on a programmed logic-based system. Even when specifically designed to mimic human emotion, they do so based on patterns and algorithms, not actual emotional comprehension.
Also, AI hasn't mastered the art of discerning complex human emotions, correct? My own work with AI reveals that they often struggle to detect the subtle changes in tone and expression that a human friend could easily understand.
True, and to add to your point, the inability of AI to comprehend emotions could potentially limit the evolution of future AI advancements. Our human emotional intelligence is intricate. Can AI, even after adapting and learning, ever parallel that complexity?
I align with your concerns, Charles. The risk is twofold. AI could either remain in their limited empathetic state, providing a subpar companionship, or they could evolve to perfectly mimic empathy, posing another set of issues.
Do share more about these potential pitfalls, William.
If AI reaches a point where they perfectly mimic empathy, we could encounter the issue of authenticity. It may become more challenging to distinguish between genuine human empathy and simulated AI empathy, which could complicate our understanding of emotional intelligence.
So, can AI essentially become too perfect at mimicking empathy that it becomes problematic? A chilling thought. William, according to various studies, AI companions are a double-edged sword in terms of mental health. On one side, they can offer solace to those battling emotional distress, providing a welcoming ear at any time of day.
True, Charles. However, could digital companionship potentially exacerbate feelings of isolation for those reliant on their AI friends? Research from my homeland India reflects on this aspect.
Do share these insights, William.
I read about a study in Mumbai that showed an increase in feelings of loneliness among users who communicated solely with AI companions. The rationale was the lack of human touch, feel, and complex interaction that a human friend would provide.
That's an interesting study, William. One point from South Korea's digital health developments that I want to bring in is the balanced use of AI. AI companions can be therapeutic, especially for those struggling with anxiety, depression, or loneliness.
I'm intrigued to know more about this balanced usage.
Balance refers to the idea of using AI companions as a helper, a kind of emotional support, but not as a replacement for human interaction. For example, an AI chatbot can provide comfort and companionship for someone struggling with insomnia at midnight, yet human companionship should be pursued during the day.
I see. That indeed presents a more careful approach to AI companionship. Yet despite the positive aspects, I wonder if this approach may encourage antisocial behavior.
There's certainly that risk, William, and mental health professionals are closely monitoring this. Governments should regulate such technologies to prevent misuse. William, our discussions so far have highlighted how AI companions can support individuals struggling with emotional distress. However, how do you think these AI friendships could influence human relationships as we understand them today?
That's a tricky question, Charles. An aspect of AI that people often overlook is its impersonal nature. An AI may mimic emotional understanding, but can it form the long-lasting, meaningful bonds that human friends do?
I see the room for doubt there. After all, the depth and richness of human relationships stems from shared experiences, memories, and years of mutual growth. But couldn't an AI friend offer a sense of comfort, a constant companion to turn to whenever in need?
It might, Charles, to some extent. AI companions do offer accessible, round-the-clock comfort. Yet, there's a vast difference between comfort stemming from programmed responses and a friend who understands and empathizes based on shared experiences.
Right. Isn't there also a risk of leaning too much on AI? I wonder how dependence on AI companions could impact human bonds. If we become too accustomed to the comfort and simplicity that an AI friend provides, would it make human interactions with all their complexities seem overwhelming?
A vital point, Charles. We humans are social creatures, and maintaining a healthy balance in our relationship with AI is crucial to preserve the essence of human bonds. Your thought just made me wonder, if we continue to advance in AI technology, could it potentially lead us to reassess our traditional concepts of friendship?
Intriguing thought, William. It just proves that while AI companionship is a concept full of possibilities, we ought to tread with caution. There's no denying the potential benefits, yet the implications on human relationships call for thorough considerations. Now let's delve into our own interaction patterns with AI personas.
A fascinating topic indeed, Charles. My experiences are mostly professional. At Hanil, we use AI to optimize operational efficiency. However, beyond work, I haven't experienced much of AI companionship.
Interesting, William. For me, as a vocational nurse, my interactions with AI have been quite different. The hospital where I work has an AI chatbot that patients can message to request for assistance or check their appointments. This allows us, nurses, to concentrate more on our primary care duties. Now, I wouldn't say the bot is my friend, but it's surely a companion that makes my job more manageable.
That seems like a positive addition to your work life, Charles. Yet, isn't there a concern that these AI companions might replace human roles in such professions?
Well, William, that's a commonly raised concern. However, healthcare, like many professions, isn't just about technical tasks. It includes empathy, interpersonal connections, and the human touch. Even the best AI can't replicate these. While I consider our AI bot as a helper and companion in my job, it cannot replace the fulfillment I get from my tangible interactions with patients.
That's a valid point, Charles. It seems we still have a long way to go when it comes to completely replacing human efforts with AI. Yet our experiences, however, differ from more personal anecdotes we received from our listeners.
Absolutely. We had one listener, for instance, who shared her unique bond with her AI assistant. She found comfort in its constant availability, especially during late-night phases of loneliness. In a way, AI became a sort of friend in those moments, providing reassurance in solitude.
It goes to show that AI companions can offer varying levels of comfort and companionship, depending on one's needs and circumstances. That story, along with our own experiences, leads to a nuanced understanding of human relationships with AI. Are human-AI relationships all rainbows and unicorns? Or is there more to it?
A lively start, William. Skepticism towards AI friendships is valid. There's indeed more to it than friendly chit-chat and assistance. Recall AI can mimic human behavior well, yet without a fundamental understanding.
Right, and with that mimicry comes numerous issues. Can an AI truly empathize? We've already pondered on this. While AI learns to behave in a human-like way, it lacks genuine emotional understanding, unlike a human friend.
And what about the AI's capability of forming a real bond? Sure, it's always there, ready to interact, but can it reciprocate the affection we bestow on it? Or are we just forming a one-sided attachment to a meticulously crafted code?
Again, this circles back to the limitations of AI empathy. While humans experience a spectrum of emotions, AI responses are limited to their programming. An emotional bond signifies mutual understanding and empathy. Difficult to say if AI encompasses this.
Besides, the calculated responses of AI, can they ever match up to the spontaneity that a human friend brings to the table? I'm not extremely tech-savvy, William, but it seems that even AI improvisations have their roots in pre-existing data patterns. Don't you think?
Absolutely, Charles. AI improvisations are not truly spontaneous. These are patterns recognized and generated from previously encountered data. So there's a prior template for spontaneity. Take chess, for instance. Yes, AI can beat chess masters, but the system is simply evaluating numerous possibilities and selecting the best move. The creativity and spontaneity a human could harbor are currently beyond AI's abilities.
Indeed. And amidst all the talk about AI companionship, we must ask, at what cost? Is this AI friendship fantasy causing us to drift away from our existing human connections? These are things that we need to carefully consider in our headlong rush towards the future. William, you've worked closely with AI systems, so can you clarify how AI assimilates human-like characteristics to appear more amiable?
Charles, it's interesting you've asked. To put it simply, AI learns from past data patterns. Imagine this. Each conversation we have, either with our smartphones or AI assistants, gets processed, analyzed, and utilized to train AI to respond more human-like. It's a constant learning and evolving process.
So, it's like an ongoing friendship built across numerous conversations?
Yes, in a way. AI can remember preferences, habits, and repeated behaviors. However, the term friendship shouldn't be too lightly tossed around. Unlike human friends who remember our shared experiences because of emotional connections, AI recalls data due to coded algorithms.
Wow, that sounds really impersonal when you put it like that. But what about those AI companions that imitate laughter or sadness or sympathy? Is that just mimicry, or is there more to it?
Although it's easy to get swept up in thinking that these systems may truly experience these emotions, we must remember that at the core, AI is essentially engineered, efficiently simulating these behaviors based on loads of data fed into it. There's no emotion, just a complex network of algorithms.
So AI friends can't really feign spontaneity or genuine emotional responses. They're essentially faking it based on what they've learned from previous data, correct?
For the most part, yes. Yet the extent to which they can fake it has been improving tremendously, possibly blurring the line between AI and human interactive capabilities in the future.
Can an AI truly empathize?
Interesting, Charles. It's a common question in the realm of artificial intelligence. On the surface, it appears like these AI friends can grasp human emotions and respond in kind.
But really, is it true empathy or just a facsimile?
Well, to answer, empathy in humans is more than just understanding and reciprocating emotions. It's deeply rooted in shared experiences, cultural contexts, impressions of the past, and envisage the future outcomes, none of which an AI can truly comprehend. An AI's response pattern is largely based on analyzed and processed data patterns. They're primarily algorithms, not emotions.
So what we see as empathy from AI, it's just mimicry?
In a way, yes. AI currently lacks the capacity to truly experience emotions or empathize in the way humans do. It merely simulates responses based on coded patterns aligned with our emotional cues.
So, no matter how advanced AI becomes, it can't truly replicate human empathy?
At this point, Charles, it seems unlikely. However, we should remember we're only at the dawn of AI evolution. But even if AI does somehow develop a semblance of emotional understanding in the future, how authentic would that be? Would we call that true empathy, or merely a convincing imitation?
William, thinking about the potential impacts of AI friendship on mental health, a concern springs to mind. Its therapeutic benefits. Given my nursing background, I've seen companionship play a major role in mental well-being. However, I'm curious, In what ways could AI companions contribute therapeutically?
That's a pertinent question, Charles. It's believed that AI friends could potentially offer support by being always available, ready to converse at any time of the day, providing constant reinforcement or companionship. They're also non-judgmental listeners. For example, conversational AIs can provide emotional support, empathetic responses, or even cognitive behavioral interventions for individuals under emotional distress.
Interesting. We've also seen an increased utilization of such AI systems in the mental health domain. People suffering from anxiety or isolation may find solace in their constant availability.
Yes, absolutely. And one more thing to note here is, these AI systems can be programmed for positive reinforcement, providing affirmations, mindfulness tips, or relaxation prompts. They can ensure a check on negative thought patterns or triggering environments, which could bolster mental health aspects.
That sounds promising, William. However, I've also read studies stating that digital companionship could induce a false sense of connection, potentially limiting pursuit of human relationships. Doesn't that concern you?
Absolutely, Charles. As an engineer, I can see the potential of AI, but as a human being, I also understand the need for human connection. Over-reliance on digital companionship certainly poses a potential threat. It morphs the fundamental essence of human relationships, potentially leading towards isolation or loneliness.
Exactly. An element of caution should be maintained while advocating for AI-aided companionship. We need to strike a balance, ensuring it doesn't substitute human interaction.
Well said, Charles. At the end of the day, human touch matters. AI companions may be a valuable form of supplementary support, but they are definitely not a complete replacement for human connection.
William, there's an aspect we haven't touched on yet, the community's experiences with AI friends.
Oh, that sounds intriguing, Charles. Do you have some insights to share?
I have a couple of anecdotes from fellow caregivers. One of them shared how her elderly patient formed a comforting bond with a conversational AI during the lockdown. She noticed significant improvements in her patient's mood and even a decrease in feelings of isolation. It was fascinating.
That does sound promising. Did they mention any downsides of this bond?
Indeed, they did. The caregiver also expressed her concern about the patient becoming overly reliant on this AI friend and neglecting to reconnect with their human friends.
That echoes our earlier discussion about striking a balance in relying on digital companionship.
Furthermore, another caregiver shared that his patient developed a level of trust in her AI companion he had never seen. This got me thinking, if AI can elicit such strong emotions, couldn't there be a potential for manipulation?
That's a valid point, Charles. One of my engineering colleagues also observed a similar event. She mentioned that her son developed a close bond with his AI tutor. While it was beneficial for his academic growth, she noticed an eerie shift in his behavior. He started treating the AI like a human, parroting its way of speaking and expressions.
These strong emotional attachments can indeed tread into uncharted territories, highlighting the need for exploring ethical guidelines in AI companionship. Now for some light-hearted fun. As we enter the final segment of today's episode, are you up for a little trivia related to AI and friendship, William?
Sure, bring it on, Charles.
All right, let's see how much you know about AI. Question number 1. In which year was the first emotionally responsive AI, Kismet, developed at MIT?
That's a good one. I am going to take a wild guess here, 2000.
Close, William. The correct answer is 1997. I guess we'll have to brush up our AI history a bit.
Indeed, the developments in AI have been so rapid it's hard to keep track. What's our next trivia question?
Question number 2. Can you name an AI which learned to respond with empathy by reading romantic novels?
Interesting. I wasn't aware AI learned from reading novels. Can't name this one.
It's Google's AI. Who would have thought our googly friend is a romantic at heart? All right, this brings us to the end of our trivia.
I must admit, Charles, that was quite fun.
Just trying to lighten the mood. Now, as always, we would love to hear from you. We believe that all of you engaging with us will make our next episodes even better.
Yes, we encourage you to share your unique experiences, funny anecdotes, or just your thoughts on the concept of AI as a friend. We are certain everyone has a unique perspective, and we are eager to hear it.
Absolutely, William. Let's dig deeper in our next episode where we will be discussing children and AI companionship. We've discussed how AI provides a new paradigm for friendship.
Indeed, Charles. Through this topic, we've understood that at its core, AI as a friend is a new form of emotional technology, built with the potential to replicate aspects of human friendship, but also derived from fundamental differences. This paradox, in turn, creates an intriguing dynamic we need to grapple with.
That's right, William. Nevertheless, we've also acknowledged the nuances. While the AI has potential to emulate empathy, the authenticity of such responses remains questionable. It's worth noting that AI, in its current form, may only be able to mimic emotional understanding.
And it's not just about what AI can do. We've also considered the mental health implications and societal shifts potentially induced by AI companionship. Despite the potential benefits, over-reliance on AI companionship could distort the essence of human relationships.
Yet we couldn't ignore compelling arguments supporting AI's role as a therapeutic aid. While we have our reservations about overly relying on them, AI companions could positively impact individuals grappling with loneliness or emotional distress.
Absolutely. Our audience's diverse experiences with AI friends also underscored the complexity of this topic. We've heard stories ranging from worry concerning the AI companionship, skepticism about their capacity for understanding and empathy, to appreciation for their potential to counter loneliness.
Our journey has been only a brief foray into the complex world of AI companionship. However, we hope the discussion has given you an interesting perspective. We invite you all to share your thoughts and experiences with AI companionship and help carry forward this dialogue into interesting spaces.
Yes, and join us for our next episode where we delve deeper into children and AI companionship. An intriguing topic, wouldn't you say, Charles?
Very much so, William. Before we part, it's important to acknowledge as we venture forth into the AI realm, we should strive for a balanced perspective, understanding the potential of AI as friends while also guarding against potential pitfalls.